When I first started my business, it was the first exposure that I ever had to a position that I would refer to as an eat what you kill position. And pretty much what this means is that if you want to make money, you have to go out there and find deals. You have to find people to work with. You have to find clients to service. You have to build relationships in order to be able to make sales. I had never worked a job like this before in my life. Every other job that I had, I was getting paid an hourly amount. And your particular work experience is going to matter so much when it comes to the success of your online fitness coaching business or just the first business that you start as an entrepreneur in general, because there are a lot of different realizations that you might have come to already, or you are going to come to those realizations over your first year of being an entrepreneur. And for me, a lot of different beliefs and behaviors changed after I made my first $100,000 as an online fitness coach. So I'm to the point now where I make $100,000 plus per month from online fitness coaching. And there was a point where I remember when I was first getting started, I was just so obsessed with trying to replace the amount of money that had been coming into my bank account every single week from my job. It was $3,400 a month, I believe. I was getting paid at my 9 to 5 job where I was working as a technician at a manufacturing company. And I was just obsessed every single day with putting in as much work as I possibly could. I would work straight through weekends. I would ignore friends. I would stop spending time with family, all if it meant that I was posting on social media, I was doing reach outs, I was interacting with people at the gym, doing whatever I possibly could in order to hop on sales calls and close somebody on my services. I was literally giving it my absolute all. And what I found as time went on was that I had actually been turning a lot of people off to my services because it was so clear that I was going into the whole situation with so much desperation. It's very, very similar to a woman and how you approach her. If you approach a woman and you are very nervous and you are very scared, you're like, oh my gosh, this has to work. This woman is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my entire life. She is going to be turned off by that. She is going to sense that you are insecure, and she is going to sense that you're not really operating out of a place of abundance. And she is also going to feel your lack of self confidence, and whether or not she even realizes this in the moment, or whether or not you realize it, it is happening. When you lack the confidence, it is going to change your aura, it is going to change your behavior, and she is going to feel that desperation and be more likely to turn you away. Versus if you go into the conversation with this aura of, I have a lot of value to offer. Do you want what I have to value? Do you want what I have to offer? Do you value the things that I bring to the table? Do you see my value the way that I see my value? When you come in with that level of confidence, people are so gravitated towards you. And especially in the business of being a coach, this aura is so incredibly important. Because if you're going to coach somebody, they have to have an immense amount of respect for you. And I'll go as far as to say is that your success rate with your clients will be very closely correlated to how much your clients respect you and how they perceive you. If they do not perceive you as in a position of authority, as somebody that is full of wisdom that they want to listen to, they are probably not going to do the things that you tell them to do. Versus if you are a leader and the frame is set up properly where they are looking up to you as the person with all of the knowledge that they need in order to be able to succeed, that is going to cause them to utilize the services even more. You are going to get better testimonials and you are going to make way more sales. And so you'll hear of this term called commission breath in the sales world. And pretty much what that refers to is like when you speak to somebody and that desperation for the sale comes across in their actions or in their content or just in the aura that they give off, clients will be turned off very, very quickly because they think this guy is just trying to make a sale, like he's desperate. And he's posturing. He's constantly trying to position himself in a way that makes it seem like everything, that he's got everything figured out and that he's a person of value. When in reality, when you are a person of value and your services are worth what you're charging for them, your aura should speak for itself. The frame should already be established where they are looking up to you. And that starts as early as the first interaction, as the first sales call. And so this is something that I want you to keep in mind. And I'm not saying that every single lead needs to be incredibly warm. In fact, I don't agree with that. I do a lot of outbound inside of my business where we're reaching out to people and saying, hey, what's the position that you're in? What are you struggling with? Tell me about that. And then ultimately trying to get them set up on a call. So I'm not saying that every single lead needs to be perfectly warm, but that frame needs to be maintained throughout the setting process. If you lose that frame, not only are you going to get a lot less sales, but you're also going to see that your clients don't get as good of results. And so for me, that desperation really ended after I had made $100,000. You know, I was making $10,000 to $20,000 every single month. And after I had a large amount of cash sitting in my bank account, I was able to sort of sit back and think, wow, okay, I've made more in the past, 8 months than 90% of the population makes in a full year. This is awesome. I feel very, very accomplished. And all of a sudden, my aura shifted. But it took me getting to that specific point and making that certain amount of money, seeing that number in my bank account to where I was like, I made it. I am officially like a successful fitness coach. But I wish that that shift had happened a lot earlier. And like I said, your experience with work prior to before you started your business matters a lot on how quickly you're going to realize this and pick up on this. I have seen fitness coaches that have come to me inside of Empire Blueprint where they've had success in other areas of their life, and then they come into fitness coaching and they just immediately have this presence of like, I am the prize. People are putting in the work. They want to work with me. I am rejecting these other people that I don't want to work with, because that's the business that you eventually want to have. You want to be turning people away if they're not the ideal person that you want to work with, if they're going to take your energy, even if they're going to pay you money. If you don't want to work with them, you should be able to turn them away because you're operating out of that sense of abundance. Just like with a woman, it's fine if she turns you away if you're operating out of a sense of abundance, because you're like, there'll be another one tomorrow. I'll go approach another girl tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal. And people can feel that aura. And so what I want you to understand, if you're watching this, is that you are going to need to come to that conclusion that you are the prize and start seeing your services as what they truly are, like see them for just how much value they actually have before, hopefully, you even get to making $5,000 to $10,000 per month. If you can make that mental shift, if you can change that view that you have of yourself in order to do away with the imposter syndrome, you are going to come into success so much faster. And that's why for me, after $100,000, everything really changed. And all of a sudden, I was the person that was turning people away. And I was saying, hey, I know what kind of content that I want to make because I know the type of person that I want to work with. I know the type of person that I want to attract. I don't want to attract the person that is going to get irritated with me that I'm telling them how it is, that I'm calling them out when they're not eating what they're supposed to be eating or training every single day they're supposed to be training. I don't want to work with that type of person. And so as you start to get a better idea of who you want to work with and you start to see yourself as the prize and you start to see the value, the true value of your offer, that will change your perspective and it will show you everything that you've been doing wrong up until that point. That confidence comes with getting the reps in. It comes with really being able to provide your service to a large number of people and get a good idea for just exactly what you have to offer and framing your content and your entire funnel around the fact that you are the authority. You are the person that these clients are going to be coming to and paying for your help. So the sooner that you come to that conclusion, the better. And like I said, if you've worked and you've been successful in all these other areas of your life, or if you've been an entrepreneur, if you've run businesses, that's going to come a lot more naturally to you. But if you don't, if you haven't done that before, if you're coming from a place where you're trying to make a lot of money as a fitness coach, but you've never really made money before, maybe you're like me and you were making $3,000 to $4,000 a month from like a 9-to-5 job before you decided to get into this, it is going to take some time for you to break those limiting beliefs and to figure out exactly who you are. And it's a very, very important process. If you're interested in joining Empire Blueprint, you can feel free to sign up down below. But I watch people go through this process a lot. I watch them go through it from start to finish. And the guys that I've worked with inside of Empire Blueprint that have been in there for like over a year, the ones who started out very, very broke have completely shifted their aura. Like they're completely different individuals now. They don't post the same way. They don't speak the same way. They don't act the same way. They don't sell the same way. And the quicker that you can realize that that is a change that is a result of a series of repetitions, the sooner that you can just plow through the failure to find out who you really are and then start selling with that aura. Start coaching with that gravitas, okay? So hopefully you guys come to this realization earlier than I did. Hopefully you guys are getting a lot of value from these videos and there's some things in here that I'm saying that you're like, oh, okay, I realize now this is what I have to do. For some of you, it's going to take getting to a certain financial point where you're just comfortable and you're like, wow, this is great. No longer do I really care if I sign this client or not. I'm more worried about the amount of value that I provide, and I'm more obsessed with my brand rather than just hitting a certain amount of money every single month. It's more about the actual content that I'm producing. And that's how I feel. Once you actually become an influencer and you have a mission and you're a coach and you really, really value your craft, you'll start to see your work not through the lens of like, oh, how successful am I based off of how much money I'm making, but rather you'll start to see your success as based off of how many people you can truly impact that represent the exact group of people that you set out to help. That is ultimately what you're going for. It's not about the views. It's not about the likes. It's not about the money. It's about helping that specific group of people. And that's where you want to get, because that's also where you're going to make the most sales. It's also where you're going to make the most money. And it's also where you're going to be the best coach and get the best client testimonials and results. So make sure to drop a like down below if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.